Yo, what is going on, Comfy Gang? It's Comfy Neat here. So before I start the video, I want to quickly address the elephant in the room, and that is that in this past week, I basically managed to get an appointment with a quote-unquote hairdresser, although that might be too much of a compliment to this person because it was just some random person that my mom found off of the internet and referred to me. So I said, sure, why not? My hair is getting pretty long and I wanted a haircut for a while. And I went to this person and she basically gave me the black pill special without me even asking for it. I asked for one thing and she just started fucking cutting and cutting. And lo and behold, before I could even respond or tell her to slow down, to cut less of my hair off, she just fucking cut so much of it off that, you know, when I looked in the mirror and just complete and utter disbelief, I just realized, you know, it was fucking over. And, you know, I was about to open my mouth and maybe try and complain to her, but she just sort of gave me this look and then said, you know what, why bother complaining when it was over for you in the first place? I'm just trying to let the ladies out there know that you're a Norwooding ugly mong, so you should probably just accept it and reveal your baldness to the fucking world. And yeah, that's basically what happened. Haircut reveal in 3, 2, 1. Holy shit, it's fucking over! Alright, sorry about that. That was my terrible attempt at stand-up comedy. But anyways, so I'm going to be talking about my failed music career. And when I say failed, I mean, you know, I put it in quotations just because I guess I haven't technically failed. There's no really threshold of, you know, definite threshold of failure out there. But the reason I say failed is more because I sort of failed the timeline that I made for myself in terms of, you know, succeeding as a musician. And basically, long story short, around the time that I dropped out of college, that's when I first learned about music production and beat making. And I got really into it, and eventually, after maybe a few months of doing it, really wanted, not even a few months, maybe like 1 or 2 months of doing it, I wanted to basically make it my career. It's pretty much the only thing I wanted to do in life, or that's what I at least thought. Perhaps it was just a rationalization to, you know, stop me from doing other productive things like studying and becoming a, you know, your average wage cuck or, you know, Asian white collar worker. But anyways, I basically gave myself a timeline of 5 years because I think it was pretty much the consensus online that, you know, you should probably, you know, give yourself 5 to 7 years to hone your craft because, you know, things like art and, for example, photography, music, drawing, even video game design, all that stuff really takes a lot of, you know, a lot of learning, a lot of putting yourself out there, a lot of different skills that you have to improve at. And obviously, I didn't want to be one of those people who gave up way too early because for the longest time, I always felt that I had musical potential, and I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, I basically gave myself basically a timeline of 5 years. And what did I accomplish during this time? I basically spent most of it not making music, but rather doing things that were, you know, maybe sort of related to music, but not actually making the music, which is really where most of the improvement comes from in terms of art. A lot of people who are, I guess, into more creative stuff like me probably know that, you know, the more time you spend creating things, the better you become at expressing yourself. And, you know, the sort of barrier between what's inside your mind and what actually comes out of you when you try and create a piece of art slowly diminishes as you make more and more art. And unfortunately, I did not do this. I think part of it is because I'm a perfectionist, and part of it is because I was just afraid of, you know, I was afraid of the fact that, I might not be as talented as I thought I was, and all these sorts of insecurities that most artists have. So as a result of that, I basically spent weeks to months at a time procrastinating, doing things like, collecting VSTs, and, audio samples, which are like basically like sound files that people use in their music. Like, for example, like a kick drum that goes like, doo, or a snare drum that goes, tch, or like a, piano sample. You basically, I guess, know what I mean. But yeah, I spent so much time collecting these things, and I also spent time organizing the files and looking up tutorials online on YouTube, reading guides on different pages, on all sorts of different websites, and looking up, how to collaborate, how to build your own music business, and all this sort of crap that really would be useful if I was actually good at making music or actually spent the time honing my craft. But instead, I squandered that time researching useless shit. I think in this entire 5 years that I gave myself, I probably made only 300 beats, which, when you think about it, is really not a lot, given that I was at the time aiming to become a hip hop / R&B producer, which is probably, I'm not going to say it's easy to make, because given that it's so simple, it really becomes important to, you basically have to do everything really well, and you're not allowed to make any mistakes. Otherwise, it really just comes across in your music versus other sorts of more complicated genres where you're sort of allowed to make more mistakes. It's just that it takes a lot more time to make the actual song. And well, yeah, I should have been able to make at least 300 a year, and that's like the bare minimum, but instead I only made 300 over 5 years. The rest of that time was spent collecting useless crap. And also, another reason I considered it a failure is just because of the amount of money I invested into it. Although, there are people who have spent more money than me as far as pursuing different sort of creative fields, but I have spent quite a lot, to be honest, and it's something I'm not proud of. And it's really the reason why, another reason why I won't ask my parents for anything else, because I'm just so ashamed of the fact that, I did ask them, to maybe help me out. I promised that I would turn it into be able to make money off of it, and investing in different pieces of software, for example. And shit, this is kind of embarrassing, but the grand total of how much money I wasted is probably roughly 10,000 Canadian, and that's a fucking lot of money. And imagine if I put that in stocks or in crypto, while it was still going up, or basically anything other than the ones and zeros that are basically music software. They're basically just code. They don't have any inherent value. If anything, they depreciate in value over time as new updates are released. And it's not even like I got myself a nice $3,000 vintage guitar that maintains its value, or it's not like I spent that money on like music lessons. If there's one thing I wish I could have done differently at the start of my quote unquote music career, it's that I wish I could have invested all that time, all that money that I spent on it, into piano lessons, for example, because the keyboard is probably the most important instrument that you can learn as a musician in general, because it's basically, I think, the foundation of Western music pretty much. And it's just one of those skills that would have translated so well into music production, because you can pretty much play any sort of instrument on the keyboard given the amount of software out there. But because I didn't spend that money and time wisely, my music is, as a consequence, pretty shitty, pretty subpar. And there's really not much you can do. It's, as they say in music production, You can polish a turd as much as you want, but a polished turd is just a polished turd. And that's basically what my music is. Polished turds, except they're not even polished because I'm not even good at mixing. Unfortunately, as a mixer, which is basically someone who sort of edits the audio and makes sure everything is in balance. Like even for example, in bass heavy music, a lot of bass heavy music is actually pretty balanced alongside the frequency spectrum. It's just that the reason it sounds so bassy is because they've basically they basically made the bass extend all the way into the upper frequencies and take up a lot of space in that spectrum. But if you were to look at it in a sort of graph of like the balance of like high to low frequencies, it would be maybe like a tiny hump in the low end, but relatively flat and then sort of plateauing. I mean, drifting off at the top. And yeah, that is the unfortunate state of my music. And the reason I believed I had some musical talent is because when I was small, I could actually sing pretty well. And my parents always, well, my mom specifically, I guess because she was a musician, she always told me that I was talented and that I should, make the most of my talent, make the most of the opportunities that, she never had, even though she actually had probably the same opportunities as me as far as that goes. But I mean, I'm still thankful that she tried to support me. But I think part of that was also, maybe her sort of being, I guess, mothers will generally tend to overestimate the abilities of their children. And I think that's basically what happened. I will include a clip of me singing at the end of this video. To be honest, I don't think I'm that bad, but which is why it makes it even worse, because it's not like I was completely delusional. I probably have some talent, but am I competitive enough is it competitive enough in the, I guess, music industry, which is filled with, hundreds of thousands of talented people? I don't know. I like to think that it is, but given the outcome of things right now, I'm really not too sure. And another thing is that I always did well in band class, and I've had people say the same thing to me, at least at the start. But overall, I feel like I'm just one of those people that's capable of learning an instrument or a skill pretty quickly at the start, but then my ability quickly plateaus, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened in this case in terms of my music. But yeah, anyways, that is, in my opinion, or I guess not in my opinion, that's basically all I have to say about my quote-unquote failed music career. This is really something that I would dream of doing to make a living off of, but I really don't think I'm talented enough. I think the extent of my music career, my music abilities, is to basically make shit post meme songs online about being a NEET, or maybe songs that might bring people to rope, and just because of how depressing they are. I think that's my game plan for now, is if I can actually get off my ass and stop procrastinating, I might just make a bunch of meme songs, and hopefully at least that will be my legacy to the world, because I pretty much have contributed nothing to society apart from my shitty YouTube channel. And if I can at least provide that little bit of entertainment for the people who watch me, then yeah, hopefully that's at least something. At least that's my stamp on the world. That could be considered my stamp on the universe, I don't know what else to call it. Anyways, I'm rambling on for now. Oh yeah, and another thing is that I've been practicing a lot of guitar, but I feel like that's plateauing as well. I'll probably include my guitar playing in another video where I maybe talk about my guitar journey and where that's at right now. But you guys have asked me to talk about my music, so this is probably one aspect of that. And also, I did read a lot of suggestions, and I think that in my last video, so I think a lot of that really has been helpful for me as far as brainstorming stuff. So hopefully I will be able to, you know, come up with different videos, maybe on a more regular basis, hopefully. And yeah, anyways, this is Comfy Neat signing out. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video and enjoy the following cringy clip of me singing. Peace. Na, 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 does my voice sound like shit? Does it sound like shit? If you're wondering why my voice sounds so raspy, it's probably because I've damaged it, shouting like a retard, playing League of Legends when I was in my early 20s. To be honest, I think my voice sounds passable, borderline good even. It would probably sound good with some auto-tune and some reverb, which is why I'm singing in this bathroom. But I probably couldn't make it in the music industry because I am creatively bankrupt and my talent is probably limited and my voice isn't good enough to compete in this very competitive industry. Because I can't write lyrics for shit, so I'll probably just make a bunch of shitpost songs about being lonely as shit and a useless waster and a fucking DJ mom. Fuck. Mom. It is fucking over. My voice is getting tired, so it's getting progressively shittier. And also because facial aesthetics matter in the music industry, I'll probably never make it, so I'll probably fall.